good. Here goes nothing. Waiting for the flip over. Stream starting. Stream starting.
Sweet.
We are live. What is going on, everybody? I'm going to get this link as fast as I can and get it tweeted out to everybody. Live before lock, and I'm back. NBA edition. We've got 11 games. It is just filled with utter nonsense from top to bottom. I don't even know where to pitch you on where to start. I don't know where. Do you have a spot you want to start?
Let's go game by game. It'll be simple because there's going to be a lot of teams that'll be like, play this guy in 1 in 150 lineup, skips the rest of the team. I honestly think we can do it like 30 seconds a game.
You know, it's really funny. I'm cool with this because I think it's the best way to go about it. We had someone in premium Slack just be like, just don't go game by game. That'll be impossible.
Perfect. Do it.
Yes. Cavs and Hornets. Hornets, big favorites, have a slight chance to still make the playoffs, so they are at least mildly going for it.
Not that bad. They need to win their next 2 games, which are the Cavs and another winnable game, and they need they're not likely, but they're like 10%, which is that they're going to look back at some of those bad losses against the Lakers and a couple other teams, and be like, shit, we sort of folded up shop a couple weeks ago, and everyone else turned to shit also. We could have had this. Like, if they'd have pushed a little harder, they had this. It's going to come down to a game. They're going to maybe have a play-in. I think they play, I want to say, give me a sec to upload the rankings right now, but I want to say they play the Magic and the season closer tomorrow. And if they have a reasonable chance at it. Like, not likely, but they need whatever the hell to beat the Magic, Detroit to randomly punt a game, which they've been very good at recently. Like, they're not dead. They're going.
Yeah, I think it's like 9% or something on 538, somewhere in that neighborhood.
That would sound right. They need to win-win, one of which is a very winnable game, one of which is the tough one against Orlando to knock them down a peg, and they need Detroit to punt one of 2 or but they're going. Like, Kemba's going. Yeah. Let's go, team.
All right, so hit me with your Cavs and Hornets takes. So I am not sharing my screen for this show, just in case anybody's not aware. I am actively playing MLB today, so I didn't think it was going to be wise to just have an MLB screen share on. So I have NBA loaded on another laptop. So for everybody that's watching, I'm going to have my back to the camera half regularly as this is going, updating any news that we get that comes out, because I'm running 2 things at once. Got two computers hand to hand. We got it covered.
All right, sounds good.
Give me the Hornets takes.
I like Kemba in just about anything. He's great. He has 50, 60 point upside. I actually want to take a second or 2 minutes and talk with you.
Okay, hit me. Yeah.
All right. To me, one of the only edges here is that it has been widely reported, including on some of the most popular sites in the NBA today, that just misreporting the playoff situation in the West regarding the Rockets and the Trailblazers. I have seen it repeatedly said that the Rockets are locked into the 3. They're not. I've seen it repeatedly said that Portland can't grab the 3 anymore. That's wrong.
Yes,
it's actually
very true.
Really not hard for them to get the 3 at all. They have the Lakers and the Kings, I think, to close, and they need Houston to lose tonight to the Thunder. And they get the 3. That's it. That is the whole. There's some complicated shit in the East with, getting Miami in there or Charlotte in there. That's what needs to happen for Houston to fall all the way to the 4, which they really, really don't want to do because you get the Warriors in the 2nd round and not the 3rd. So I think it's important because a lot of people have been like, they'll play some guy. No, the Rockets are out there to win. And they don't play tomorrow, giving them 4 days of rest before the playoffs. My point being, if you saw 44 minutes of James Harden tonight, I'm not in any way surprised if that game is competitive. No. Which I think is a really critical piece of information. Basically, just the 10-second version is, I'm going to fade the chalk value because it's not that much better than the 97 other pieces of value, and I don't know why you would play 50% Jamario Jones unless you absolutely had to in... all right, I don't know why you'd bench the field. I don't know why you'd play it in a single lineup. There's 81 pieces of value I really like. He's fine. He's good. He's not going to get 2 steals in a block every game. He's not going to get double-digit rebounds every game. And again, some of the other value will go apeshit nuts and beat him at 1, 2, 5, 6, 7% on, and he's at 50. So if I'm building that lineup tonight, I'm windmill slamming West. I'm windmill slamming Harden just because I think the ceiling is there, and I'm shocked if he doesn't give me 55. 60, which might be well enough anyway. One of the 2 studs on the Thunder, some value that I either really like, and there's only like 1 or 2 of the 9 chalky value pieces that I actually like quite a bit. So yeah, my thing is overexposed to that game. I think the Thunder also could be 6, 7, 8. So they certainly don't want round one fucking Warriors. So they're playing for everything too. So you have some of the most productive studs in the business in a pay-up. So it's not a great fantasy game. I will happily yield that. But where I think their minutes trend up for those guys, I think Boston will be wildly over-owned for how I project their minutes to go tonight. There's a couple guys there I like. But it's non-chalky value. Guys who you think can get you 60, and guys from the Thunder and the Rockets is by far the way I'm most interested in building this shit out.
No, I'm totally with you. I don't fully expect the Rockets to go crazy, but they can.
Why would they not?
What I mean is, it doesn't have to be just like Harden going 38, Paul going 36, Capella going 36. Right. But that possibility exists. And I think it's not like minimal.
Right. I think it is very real. If I saw at the end of the day that, Capella, Paul, and Harden played, 33, 35, and 37, I wouldn't be shocked. But I think it's, 40% likely that one or more of those guys gets to the 40-minute mark. I just think they pull out all the stops with a coach who loves to play guys infinite minutes in a game against a rival, James Harden revenge, if you want a piece of that, time number 31. But yeah, yeah, okay, so we're roughly on the same page. Anyway, first game, Kemba can get you 60. I like Kemba. Other than that, on this team, I ranked a few other Hornets. I left in the pool. By the way, shout out to the Washington Wizards. First team ever for me, not ranked in GPPs. I did not rank a player. I don't have a wash on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I think Troy Brown Jr. might have got there, a couple other guys. On DraftKings, I would not play a Wizard in 150 lineup. Shout out to them for that degree of organizational incompetence and poor play. So Lamb got up to a C in tournaments. Kaminsky got up to a C in tournaments. Batum got up to a C in tournaments on DraftKings. Miles Bridges made it in as a double D. That's it. I really like Kemba Walker. 97 on FanDuel, 91 on DK. I have him projected for nearly 50. I'm not shocked if he gets 60 here. He's going to play. He's going to see buckets of time. I'm fine with that. As far as the Cavs, I really don't like anyone. You can. I guess I have kind of like Ante Zizic on DK.
He's just got a dumb price today.
Yeah, he's just got a dumb price. He should get it 30 to 32 minutes at 3,500 and not being that goddamn popular. Like, I think he's, I don't know what we have him at. I'll take a look at ownership in a second, but I'm guessing he's 10, 14%, somewhere in those boundaries. I'd have some interest in that. Beyond that, because there is random upside games in this spot out, and plus also a very good matchup against Cleveland, or against Charlotte, I should point out. You can play Marquise Chriss, you can play Jordan Clarkson, you can play Colin Sexton, you can play Larry Nance Jr. I don't really want to play any of those players. They're basically buckets of C's and D's for me.
Completely agree with every piece of your take here.
Cool. Let's move on.
Alrighty. Pistons and Grizzlies. This one's super relevant for the Pistons. Obviously not at all relevant for the Grizzlies. Blake Griffin in, and then everybody else that could be in for this game that has been in is in. Both sides of the coin.
Griffin is in. I missed that. Hey, there it is. We'll start.
Yes.
There you go.
Andre Drummond obviously looks fantastic here. Not a lot of big men on the Grizzlies that I think are going to be keeping him very much in check. No issues with Blake. Don't really have much interest in the rest of the Pistons. And then the Grizzlies, I don't know, Tyler Dorsey on FanDuel and probably nothing else. That's my, quick and dirty. Where are you at?
Yeah, you can play Delon Wright. I think he's a strong cash play, 7,100 on DK. Yeah. You do have back-to-back triple-doubles, 60 fantasy points. I imagine the ownership is in the 15-20% range. I'm not going to say don't play him, but it's a shit matchup for him, and I think it should be restated. It's actually a pretty good matchup for the Pistons. Now, the Pistons pretty dysfunctional as an offense frequently, and Blake being back really bullocks it up a little bit, so I kind of like Ish Smith a fair amount. He's gotten more minutes than Reggie, 3 out of the last 4. It's actually a really, really good matchup. This backcourt for Memphis is pretty anemic defensively. And again, value that's not super chalky that I'm not shocked gives me, 30 or what have you. Blake back in kind of ruins the whole thing for me. So sure, Blake, anywhere if there's an upside and a big one, and the minutes, again, could trend up because they need the game. And you're not saving it for anything else. So the Pistons do play again tomorrow. The easiest thing is to talk about the teams that don't play tomorrow. The teams playing their season finale today are the Celtics, the Cavs, the Rockets, the Lakers, the Pelicans, the Suns, the Raptors, and the Wizards. Those teams are done. This is it for them, which makes me sad. A single tear rolls down my cheek. But Still like Drummond, less with Blaken. Blake, obviously, I like more now that he's playing. Hashtag analysis. I think you can play Reggie in a matchup where there is actually dumb upside. I think you can play Ish. They would be secondary. That's it for me on that team. And yeah, again, talking about Memphis, Caboclo's prices come back more reasonable on FanDuel, and I think he maybe sees 40 minutes here again after that weird "we'll bench you when you're playing" great thing that happened. Dorsey, the FanDuel price at 4K makes some sense. Edge of playable on DraftKings, and yeah, done.
There we go. Moving on. This one might take a couple seconds. Wizards and Celtics.
Yeah.
Like you said, Troy Brown is the only real piece on FanDuel for the Wizards. But, I mean, have at it. The Celtics. That's the most guys I've ever seen rested in a game.
It's close. It's close. Okay, so things I'm not sure everyone realizes. One, the Celtics have 10 bodies. Okay, I think the popular conception, or at least a reasonably widely held conception, is they have 7 guys and the starters are going to play 34 minutes at 3. I think none of that is true.
No.
They have 10 guys. I'd say it's a 90% chance all 10 guys play. Yeah. Absolutely 9 guys will play. Last year in the season finale, in a very similar situation with absolutely nothing to play for, they played every single active body they had. Abdul Nader.
Gotta pause you quick. We got news. Karl Anthony Towns out.
Yep. There's no reason to play him. Bad for everyone, but Gorgie Jang now strong, maybe not owned enough player. I'll go some gorgeous dong. I think makes a lot of sense, but key news. But yeah, I think the Celtics are all going to be over-owned. I like Gershon Yabusele. I like Robert Williams. On DK, I like them both, where they're both power forward playable. You can play both, but they are going to play. I right now have Yabusele in for 26 minutes and Robert Williams in for 28. As I was mentioning last year, an identical situation where they had 9 bodies and not 10. They played all 9 bodies. Abdul Nader started and saw 37 minutes. Nobody else got 30. So I'm really annoyed that Jaylen Brown will see his minutes limited news came out, because that was going to be the dumbass move of the day. People were going to play so much Jaylen Brown, and his ass was going to play 17 minutes. And I was so excited about that. Anyhow, so look, you can play Terry Rozier. There is an upside. He could just take infinite shots and crush $5,200 in his 26 minutes. That's really possible there. I don't mind Tice, just because he's, again, super, super cheap. Power forward on both sides. I have him below Williams and Yabusele. He has some lingering injury concern. He's on the fringes of the rotation. Not surprised if my man plays 14 minutes tonight. I ranked Wanamaker. I ranked Hunter. But the 2 guys I want here, and more so on DK, is Bob Williams and Gershon Yabusele. I would come in massively under the Celtics on this slate. Obviously, the matchup is superlative. Some of these guys will fall ass backwards into being good, but they are. I would not be surprised if nobody saw 30 minutes.
I agree with you. The most I have anybody getting is 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it would be one of the bigs, right? It's Yabusele or Williams, right? Maybe Rozier.
Yabusele, yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. He's $3,000, but people are going to be all over some of the shittier pieces of this game. And look, it's the Wizards. They are an ass defense, but I don't expect them to function at the world's best efficiency. And taking a brief look at the ownership and seeing the number of BOS towards the top,
I actually think Semi could see 30 minutes because he kind of fits in every lineup they would want to do, but he's also largely useless in a fantasy sense, so he would need every one of those minutes to
exactly. Again, you need both Yabusele and Bob Williams can have 35 or 40 in their 27 minutes. That can absolutely happen against the Wizards. So I'm fine with it. If you told me Semi Ojeleye is going to play in this almost best possible matchup 35 minutes tonight, I'd project him for like 22. And that's wildly out of play on a slate like this.
Julius Randle out, but I assume we both assumed that was happening.
Yep.
Double
Did
assumption.
not rank.
Double
Did not rank. By the way, tilting. My last show I had was actually really good. I went back and rewatched it. I did some post game because someone was giving me some shit. I was right on like 93% of stuff, and wrong on like 3 guys, but they were wildly important guys. Really frustrating. One of them was Christian Wood when they went, he's starting now. in a great matchup, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna get there. All the other starters played like 35 minutes. He played 24.
Yeah, that's so weird.
I wanted to punch somebody. I'm like, obviously, that's what happened there. So we'll get there. Sorry. But yeah, I'm coming. I again did not rank a wizard. Congratulations, first team all year. I'd have 0 in 150 lineups. They last game already were doing their lineup all the hell over the place. The prices just aren't good enough. FanDuel, I'm pretty sure Troy Brown would have got ranked up to like a C. But yeah, no wizards. And for the Celtics, I'd come in well under the field. I like those two front court guys. Yes, you can play them both next to each other for people who are about to ask. They're starting power forward and center at $3,000. They've got nothing to do with each other.
Exactly. Miami Heat and 76ers. For the Heat, everybody, I believe, is available that is still on the team. Shout out to Rodney Magruder showing up on the Clippers now.
Yeah, that was expected. I saw one of their beat reporters wrote, the only teams who cannot take a luxury tax hit and sign him without any sort of impingement were the Clippers. But I don't think he can play in the postseason. I could be wrong here, but for some reason, I got to look at that. But I think there's some chance he's actually not eligible for postseason play. But
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, there's that weird restriction there. I think if someone knows it, tweet it or Slack it or whatever.
He might be able to be because he was claimed through waivers.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's something like that. But if someone has the 100% sure full whether or not he can play in the postseason, not relevant, but I'm curious, you could tweet it or Slack it at me and Josh.
No one really getting any love on DK from the Heat. I think that Wade and Winslow were getting some love on FanDuel, but the Heat did not look all that appetizing to me. Sixers are going to be without Joel Embiid, Mike Scott, and JJ Redick. And even still, I'm not entirely sure I like much from the Sixers. So the floor is yours. Heat and Sixers.
Yeah, most of the Sixers, for me, got Ds in cash and Bs in tournaments because they have literally nothing to play for. And they have to play again tomorrow. So I don't know why you push these guys. It is not a good matchup against a Heat team that is solid defensively and will be playing their starters the whole game. So if you want to play Ben Simmons or Tobias Harris or Jimmy Butler as the parts of the Fantastic Four who are actually present, I'm fine with that. I think they had them all as, they're all three of those I have as Ds in cash and Bs in tournaments. I would rank them Simmons, Butler, Harris for what it is worth. I'm not terribly interested in going there. For Miami, again, just because I cannot quantify it does not mean it exists. Dwayne Wade is going to be more active than normal tonight. I don't know what that turns into, but I'm surprised if he doesn't see 30 minutes. I'm surprised if he doesn't take 18 shots. That still doesn't make me like him this much on this slate. I ranked him as a C in cash and an A in tournaments because I do think stupid Dwayne Wade takes 16 possessions in a row is there. Like, even if this was Dirk's last game, that's just not sort of Dirk's deal. No. He might take 2 extra shots. But Wade going, I want to go out and do my Kobe thing, wouldn't shock me.
No.
So he gets an A in tournaments because there is a 50-point upside there for him. That's really what I got. I ranked Dragic and Waiters and Adebayo in what I consider a good matchup, and Winslow. I don't love any of those guys. And again, everything about this slate tells me to play Harden and Westbrook or Harden and George or Harden, George, and Westbrook and a bunch of value. So really hard for me to want to play $6,000 Goran Dragic, but he's, showing a giant upside that puts him in play. Like, if there's a guy in your lineup who isn't value or you don't think has a very good chance of giving you 50 or 60 tonight, I don't think you should be playing him. Like,
let's not forget, Miami still has a chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It is minuscule.
Yeah,
there are 3 scenarios.
Yeah, they need to win, they literally need 6 games to go exactly as prescribed, or 5 games, but something like that. Like, they really need it all.
Yeah, they need a very specific set of outcomes. They need a lot of losses from Detroit and Charlotte.
Yeah, they need every game played by Detroit and Charlotte to go exactly as they need, and they need to win today and tomorrow. Which one of the reasons you can be a little less excited about Wade is he presumably will play tomorrow on the road. They're gonna. It's a shame. I wanted them to make it just because I wanted playoff Wade. It's tough because I wanted to see Charlotte make it. I wanted to see Orlando make it, who did make it. But anyhow, that's where I come down.
Okay. Did you hit on anything from Philly there? Any very specific people? I don't see it today. So
I did not rank and probably should have ranked Boban because he is going to be. I did rank him. I stand corrected. He got double Ds, and who doesn't like double Ds? But Boban is going to be low on value. That has a big upside. Scott is out, which helps him a little bit. I don't think we know yet on Bolden. If Bolden is out, I'd probably move him to a D in cash and a C in tournaments. Just because, again, they have literally nothing to play for. It does not make sense, especially having to play tomorrow on a back-to-back for them to randomly run out their starters 35 minutes. And on a slate where I expect there to be giant scores tonight, it doesn't make any sense for you to run a lot of those guys. If you fell on to Simmons or Butler or Harris in a tournament lineup, I don't think it's insane they get there, but that is my take on the whole thing. They have Furkan came back, so even sort of the Ennis minutes hole gets filled a little bit. Meh.
We just got tagged and someone said Bolden is available, but I have not seen that.
Okay, I haven't seen it, but I haven't been paying close attention since we went live. So let me
Bolden starting. Simmons, Smith, Butler, Harris, Bolden.
Yeah. So at this point,
yeah.
I don't really want to Smith.
No.
Yeah. No.
Kudos to Zaire Smith for working his way back this season, though.
Yeah. Congratulations to him. I mean, he's. I don't think he'll play in the playoffs, barring injury or weirdness. But congrats on him. Has looked fine. I guess that would sort of be on the edge of tournament playable for me. Like I'm sure minimum price. Not shocked if he now sees 32, 33 minutes. I don't like it, but I don't think I'd consider it absolutely ridiculous to play Zaire.
Alrighty.
Anthony Davis is out. Shocking news.
Yeah, I didn't even look. Figured today was the day he was going to play if he was doubtful.
And they were done. So he never came back.
I think you're going to have a lot to talk about on this one.
Yep.
Bulls and Knicks. And boy, oh boy, is this a garbage basketball game.
Yes, it is. And I love some guys in this.
Lemon and Sampson look great on FanDuel. They're fine for me on DraftKings. I don't really like a ton of the Bulls, all things considered. Knicks, on the other hand, they just don't have enough bodies. Mitchell Robinson, Hazonia, Hazonia apparently is a thing now.
Yep.
Luke Cornett, Knox is bleh. Dotson, probably going to play big minutes or kind of has to. Yeah, Henry Ellenson. I probably don't need any John Jenkins or Billy Garrett in my life. But
they've really jumped on the starters.
Yeah.
If you look at their I'm top of my heading this. If you looked at the 20 starters minutes totals over their last 4 games, as in, you know what I'm saying? If you look at the 5 starters each of the last 4 games, whoever it was, how many minutes they played, I think 19 of them were 30 plus. Like they have really started. I don't know if you have that information on the handy, but they've really just been like, you're starting, you're playing a full game.
I have the minutes in front of me. I won't have the starter designation, but we'll know it.
Right, but Mitch is getting 30 every game. Cornette, there was one game. I think the one exception is Lance started and got like 28 one game. But Knox gets his 30. Dotson gets his 30. Moutier gets his 30. Cornette gets his 30 absolutely when he starts. Almost got it off the bench the game Lance starts.
Hazonia is getting mid-30s or 40.
Yeah, so Hazonia, and this is just words you never thought you would say, maybe the best play on the slate on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Which is just absurd. But again, whatever, the last 3 games since you took this role, including one against the Bulls, I might add, 40, I think 42 is the minimum DK points, 50-something in one of them, just constantly touching the ball. And again, just a tremendous matchup. So everyone else, like I think spending more than him on like Lemon and Sampson is a little bit nuts. I'm pretty low on Lemon and Sampson. Again, my logic here being, you're right, someone on this team has to score. But if they're popular, I'm just going to want to go elsewhere.
Yep.
And again, I don't like playing 6K guys on this build if I can get away with it, with a couple rare exceptions of, Hazonia, who just feels much safer to me. And the minutes, and again, things I never thought I'd say about the Knicks this year, the minutes feel safer to me at this juncture, especially for him specifically on this Knicks team. So I imagine you get 30x minutes out of Sampson and Walt Lemon again.
Yeah.
But I think they've both overproduced. Like if I'm going to spend 6 something, I would actually just play Shaq Harrison. Which
starting.
What's up?
He's starting.
Yeah, I would play Shaq Harrison, who I have projected for almost the same number of minutes. I think is a better basketball player and is apparently going to be wildly less owned. Walt Lemon played the Knicks, 6-8 days ago, and played 30 minutes and had 22 fantasy points. And again, I haven't projected similarly to a scad of guys who cost $4,000, $4,500, $5,000. single lineup, I'm not getting there. We don't talk about single lineups, I think, as much as we should. Cash, sure, go ahead. This guy, I expect to play 30 whatever minutes against the Knicks. Tournaments, does he have 50 in the bag? Maybe. Certainly a spot to do it. But there's just enough uncertainty there for me. Yeah, I get it. Like, I see the Jakar Sampson thing. He's looked good. Team's terrible. Matchup is great. I'm just going to play more 3 and 4K guys so I can play more 11K guys.
Perfect. God, this Knicks team is just insane today.
Yeah, and I really like them.
Yeah, me too. We have a very different looking team now for this one, Minnesota and Toronto. Originally expecting for me today that most of Toronto would be out. Turns out they're not doing it at all. I don't understand it whatsoever. Makes no sense to me. But we've got Minnesota now. Gorgeous Dong, 4,300 on FanDuel, 4,200 on DK. Looking absolutely fantastic as a play. Wiggins, sure. I could pretty much care less about anything else on Minnesota. On the Toronto side, you should be pretty comfortable ignoring almost all of it.
Yeah, I don't know if you remembered our pregame show. I said, name the 3 Raptors I ranked, and they're Pascal Siakam, just because if they're going to run a starter out there dumb minutes, I guess it's him.
Yeah.
The matchup is especially great for him. I think the upside, sure, like that. So he got ranked as like a double D or something, and yeah, then Norm Powell, and Jesus, I don't even remember what the third one was. Who we got? Fred VanVleet. But yeah, they're locked in. I assume they're doing this because they do not play tomorrow. Again, this is their season ender, but they are the 2. They have nowhere to go. I can't imagine the starters see enough minutes, but they're in there, so that fucks the bench, and there's a million other good value plays. So, yep, I'm perfectly happy to move elsewhere. And then, Gorgeous Dong now makes a very, very strong play. I think there is now sort of dumb Wiggins upside game in theory, but the matchup is just bad. I don't have a lot of love here. I guess like you could run a Tyus out there, but
the boss man just posed a question in YouTube chat, or at least an answer. Toronto could be playing for this game because they're competing to get a better record than Golden State.
Yeah.
Which could mean home court in the finals. So
I'm gonna go back. Let's see. The Raptors currently 57.
They're a half game up on them right now. I don't know who has the tiebreaker. My guess would be the Raptors, if that could be possible. But they can finish with the same record if they both win out. They both have 24 losses. Trying to think who won the 2 games that they played, but I have no memory anymore. I would have
assumed played twice this year. The Raptors won them both.
There you go. So if the Raptors win here, they would have home court over the Warriors in the finals.
All right, good point. Appreciate you pointing that. Yeah, I don't generally look at cross-conference standings for that reason, but okay. It's worth pointing out now that they still have, I think we could agree, some very good motivation to rest their guys, though they do have 4 days off coming up. And now the matchup is pretty sexy. So I'm still not thinking you see the ceiling minutes out of any of these guys. But yeah. I guess there's a land in which it occurs. But that I suppose makes some sense. I still think, again, there's a million great spots to look at today. And there's some reason to worry that they get ceremonial starts, but that's good information. I appreciate the correction. That is relevant. They obviously have a decent chance to win the East. They're very possibly going to run into the Bucks in the finals, and if they can get through that, and they want to beat Golden State, they'd want that game at home. So okay, I think that's
throw it all in the garbage. Kyle Lowry out. Serge Ibaka out. Whole team can suck it.
You can Fred now, 5,600. There's, he can get you 40. He can, theory, get you 50 against these Timberwolves. They're pretty balls at defense.
Great call on this one, Alex, by the way.
Well, no, his logic was good, and I appreciate I constantly want to, refine my thought process, even if the individual point didn't turn out relevant, but
he gave it the LOL my bad in chat as soon as it came out, so that's
the timing is particularly hilarious. That I said it, he corrected, and a minute later the Raptors are like, no, we're just kidding. It's like, okay, good times. Okay, so yeah, Boucher at minimum price. I'd have 3 shares of an 150. Van Vliet, I think, and Norm Powell. I think then second for me after that. I don't know if you're gonna update projections, rankings, and come up with any other names there. But
I doubt you get to much else of anything. I mean, does Jeremy Lin become mildly okay now? Does he even get in?
Does he start?
For real? Super reasonable question.
All right, we'll come back to it. Let's move on to the next game because we're doing these 30-second games, and we'll come back to the Raptors.
Yeah, that'll work. Pelicans and Warriors.
Yeah.
Lots to like, I think, on the Pelicans because there's just not enough bodies remaining. Warriors, on the other hand, are going full strength today for reasons. But I don't think that they're particularly relevant.
Bogut and Iguodala and someone.
Full strength to the real dudes.
Yep.
So hit me with the Pelicans talk because there's a couple guys here that look pretty tasty to me.
Yeah, I don't think I could get to Kenrich Williams, but the other four, have real potential between Elfrid Payton, Ian Clark, Christian Wood / Cheikh Diallo, and Okafor. Look, we saw Christian Wood look absolutely stupid good for a few games. Actually, really not that non-reminiscent of Jahlil Okafor a couple months ago when he had his coming out party, basically, where he's like, look, I'm really good for a week, and then just sort of it went away and they stopped giving him minutes, whatever. But he's come back to looking good the last couple of days. He's obviously $2,000 cheaper than Wood. I'm more excited to play Okafor, assuming the positionality doesn't matter a lot for you. Good spot for Elf. Like, they're running him out there in the mid-30s in minutes. I think he plays. Again, this is their finale. So there is no tomorrow for the Pelicans in any sense of that sentence, by the way. That team. But I like Elf. I like Elf more than Clark. I think just the upside is a little bit more likely there. Obviously, we're still without Frank Jackson and infinite other wings on this team. So you can Ian Clark. We have seen the upside where he had 35 in the first half the other day and ended near 50. We have Kenrich Williams. I worry about the upside, but Payton I like. Clark I don't mind. I think he's in play. Wood. There is obviously some chance that he plays 30 minutes tonight and has 50 fantasy points. He'd be unowned because of how dumpy the minutes have been these last couple games, I would expect. And he's 61 on FanDuel, I want to say, is the number. So, okay. Okafor, I probably legit like. So I like Okafor and Payton. I'm fine with Clark, Wood, Diallo. I think that's where I land on the Pelicans. How about you?
Yeah, Payton looks good. Diallo looks good. Clark on DraftKings looks good at 4,600, less so at 6K.
Yep.
I'm fine rolling the dice on Christian Wood, but it's less and less of a value play because I just have no idea what he's going to do for minutes.
Yeah.
And then Okafor for 4K on DK is just a silly price tag. I mean, one of Okafor or Wood is going to be pretty good tonight.
Yeah, or both.
Or both.
I do not think it is impossible whatsoever that you get something really sexy collectively there.
Fred VanVleet starting. That's not exactly news.
Yeah. The question is, who else is starting? Marc Gasol will start. Pascal Siakam will start. Kawhi Leonard will start. And name, please.
Danny Green. You look. Eric Smith says the rest expected to stay the same. Kawhi, Gasol, Green, Siakam. So.
Oh, they're all gonna take a.
What?
Say again. The rest.
It's the normal starting lineup plus VanVleet. So Kawhi, Gasol, Green, and Siakam.
Okay. Then
per Eric Smith, that's the expectation right now. But
yeah, that would certainly seem the most likely scenario. So no problem for me.
I'm just going to assume that he's just right now. Oh, hold on. Official word for tonight: Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, and Andrew Bogut are all out versus the Pelicans. That is coming from Mark Medina, Warriors writer.
Okay, so that leaves us Cousins, Draymond, and Steph. You will get starts from presumably Alfonso McKinney and I don't think they've had this particular configuration yet this year. Almost certain they haven't. So no Klay, no Durant. I heard that right?
Yes.
No Iguodala.
No Durant, Klay, Iggy, Bogut.
Right. Yeah.
The whole big thing today was that they were letting Durant play. Now he's out with an illness.
Whatever. Okay. I'm going to guess they start Cook and McKinney. I have no particular reason to believe this to be the case, but you're not too screwed if Quinn Cook doesn't work out anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Very much so.
I mean, work out as in get the start, rather. You are screwed if it doesn't work out, but...
Yeah. team's so dumb. They play everybody 8 minutes anyway. They're probably going to play everybody else a rotation.
Oh, yeah. They're going to, like, I'm not super excited about him. I think you can play Kevon Looney. I think he will back up DeMarcus Cousins, and then when DeMarcus Cousins comes out because they're limiting minutes or they're up 68 or whatever the hell happens, you get him in there. I think you can play DeMarcus Cousins, who may have some vengeance on his mind and is somewhat of an emotional guy. Again, just because I can't quantify it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Sure, I think you can play Steph Curry, who in 24 minutes can easily score 60 fantasy points against the Pelicans. I'm not being hyperbolic. Like, that's in the wheelhouse of outcomes here. I'd still have him worse than Kemba. I'd still have him worse than Lillard. But I'd have some shares of those guys. I still don't think it gets me to Draymond.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Cool.
God, this is ridiculous.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite thing ever. It's just the more things for people to screw up. Setting aside whatever process issues it costs you if you're playing 100 guys. Setting aside if you go on tilt when you get guys scratched and all that stuff. I absolutely love this. Gotta go faster. Let's go again.
Alrighty, moving on. Ah, shit. Dallas and Phoenix. This one's pretty easy. I think Luka is in play if he is in for Dallas. Otherwise, I have very little interest in Dallas. On the Phoenix side, oh, God. Josh Jackson on DraftKings looks pretty tasty. Ray Spalding is the flat minimum on FanDuel if you want to do something like that. And then I can pretty much skip the rest of the team. What say you?
Agreed. Move on. That's exactly what I have. Again, I like Ray Spalding a lot on FanDuel. Had one bad game. People moved the hell off. Has obviously the massive upside in a good matchup. Not going to be owned high enough. Not minimum. FanDuel, you can drop him. I would much rather play him than insert other cheap guy here.
I'm with you. Jazz and Nuggets. If you end up on any of the good guys in this game, I think it's fine. I don't really like any of them.
I think Jokic is on the edge of playable. I think Donovan Mitchell is on the edge of playable just because they are guys who are going to be very low owned who have the upside. Again, could they get 60 in this game? Yes. So you can do it. I think it's pretty goddamn unlikely both those guys tend to cap out in the 40s, 50 or whatever. I like Jokic in tournaments because he's going to be 4% owned. He had 70 against Gobert in a game in which they both played 36 goddamn minutes. The upside is there. The ownership is there. I like value in playing up for guys who at their ownership can drop 60 points and give you enough upside. I think Jokic fits that bill. And again, the Nuggets with something to play for pretty distinctively. I won't go through the whole spiel again, but they want to win. So, because they're not locked in. Sorry, that's important. The Rockets have to be careful not to fall to 4 and can still get to 2.
Yes.
So, I expect the Nuggets to put forward not as superlative an effort as the Rockets, but to be out there with their guys trying to do some damage. So, yep, fine with Jokic. Past that, I'm pretty happy to move on.
Alrighty, next game on the list. Oklahoma City Thunder and Houston Rockets. We've touched on this previously. Love getting to any pieces of Russ, PG, or Harden that you would like. They're going to be fantastic options, I believe, for just raw points. Yep. Value for them is going to be a little different. Just getting into those high numbers is going to be very, very appealing. They should all be relatively popular since everybody has infinite money today.
Yep.
Do you have any specific takes you want to drop for this game?
In tournaments, on both sides, I slightly prefer Paul George to Russell Westbrook. Now, it is difficult because of a lot of the better value coming in at forward. Like, you really want to play all the value forwards and then Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Like, that really cries out to be made. But for that reason, I think you get, again, even much better ownership on Paul George. Going back to our ownership real quick, which I had up somewhere. We have Paul George at 16%. We have Westbrook at 23%. That's a little surprising for me. But yeah, and it's worth pointing out that it on paper works out to be a slightly better matchup for Paul George. And the last 2 times these teams played each other with Westbrook and Harden and George in with all hands on deck, George flat out outscored Russell Westbrook. Yeah, slightly, not by tons in either one. I still have Westbrook projected higher. I have no issue with any amount of Russell Westbrook. I have no issue playing all 3 of them. and I think that ownership is closer than it will end up being. We'll see in a few hours. But if I had to build one lineup and could only play George or Westbrook, I would slightly prefer playing Paul George. It's obviously plenty risky. There's the shoulder. There's all that going on there. But only by like a hair. If I played 150 lineups, I'd have whatever 70. Yeah, it's probably a little high, but something like 65. Something like 65 George and 55 Westbrook or something. But I would have a lot of this game.
As you should.
Yeah, raw points is a huge thing, especially on FanDuel, where it gets broken down by position. On DK, where there kind of aren't any positions, points per dollar ends up being more relevant. On FanDuel, it's just like, with so much value, very frequently it's like, did you have the 2 highest scoring shooting guards?
Yeah. So they have the very high likelihood of being those people. So.
Right. There's a very real chance that ends up being, James Harden and, whomever. Maybe it's Dwayne Wade, but I really like Luka Doncic, by the way. I presume he plays in this game. He is probable. He wants to sew up his rookie of the year. It's the Suns. You know what I'm saying? In the games he's played,
I'm with you.
He's been outstanding. The price isn't quite as good on FanDuel, actually. It's the price is slightly improved on DK. It's come around to being slightly less ridiculous, but I really like Luka Doncic. I didn't comment on Dallas. I just sort of agreed with you, but wanted to specifically reiterate that. On FanDuel, certainly my most frequent shooting guard combination would be Harden and Doncic.
Good to know. And finally, closing it out, late night hammer, Lakers and Blazers. On the Lakers side, depending on how great you feel about Jamario Jones, he's pretty popular. Alex Caruso is in play on both sites. I think Muscala looks pretty darn good at 3,300 on DraftKings for reasons that I'll never understand. On the Portland side, CJ McCollum apparently going to play like 30 minutes today. I probably would shy away from him, but 6,600 isn't the worst price in the world. I don't have a single issue going to Dame Lillard. Gets his jollies playing in LA and should smack this team down considering they're filled with like 2.5 real NBA players. How do you feel about the Lakers and Blazers?
Yeah, that's basically it for me. Like Lillard, not see myself getting to Cantor tonight. I don't think I want to play 6,600, very possibly getting 27 minutes, CJ McCollum, even 30 minutes, just the way the slate comes about for me. And again, FanDuel, Harden, Doncic, value, Wade. There's just other guys I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's Wade ceiling tonight for basically the same price versus McCollum ceiling? I don't know. As far as the Lakers go, yeah, I would obviously have less than the field of Jamario Jones, and I think it's worked really well this year. There's just been that and the Thon McCurdy. There's been 47 days where I was like, look, this guy's going to be 30, 40, 50% owned on a slate where there's 988 value plays. On FanDuel, he's the minimum price or the minimum price plus 100. That's great. Play much lower owned Ray Spalding. Play much lower owned. There's just a few other value plays in the play Yabusele at the lower ownership. Believe it or not, I think you can play Tice. You can play Cornette's $1,000 more, but I'm much happier going there at lower ownership. Check Diallo is 4K. Like I'm just going other places than windmill slamming 50% owned guy on 11 game slate with just not in the best matchup. Like I just think it's crazy. He will not average double-digit rebounds. He's a good rebounder. He didn't average double-digit rebounds when he played more minutes in the G League for the whole year. Got close. Average 9. He's a really good rebounder for a 6'5" guy who spends a lot of time at guard. Yeah, I would obviously come under. He's fine play on paper. He likely plays 35 minutes again. Matchup's not terrible. He's great, but he doesn't strike me as that much better than 11 other guys who have a half, a third, a quarter of the ownership. So do with that information way too well. He's fine in cash. He probably cashes out as one of the few best value plays. I'm absolutely fine if you go there, but crazy to look at Jamario Jones and be like, oh, he had 2 good games in a row. Clearly this guy is Wilt Chamberlain. Like, slow your roll.
I'm with you. What did we need to go back to? Minnesota?
And I guess Toronto, in theory, we could have a Marc Gasol conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time believing that anybody is really in play for Toronto now, that I would want to just make sure I got in.
Yeah.
And, well, I guess any specific Warriors now? Do we want to hit that again?
Yeah, like I like Quinn Cook. I think he may start.
Yeah.
We probably won't know until game time. Even if he doesn't, I don't think you get a full game out of Steph.
$6,900 Cousins is half appealing.
Yeah. And again, there is a revenge narrative there. The matchup is obviously superlative.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cousins, fine. Cook, fine. Curry, fine. Again, they have nothing to play for. There is almost no scenario in which they play. It can happen where this game stays close, which I think we can agree is sort of unlikely to start with, but they're in Narland. So Looney, Cousins, Cook, Curry. I just really don't think they are just going to spread out the minutes everywhere. Kerr always does this.
Yeah, it's really unappealing.
I cannot get on Jerebko, McKinney, et cetera, for me. But those four guys, I am fine with. I think Cook and Looney probably will almost certainly see, 24 minutes.
Okay.
So for that reason, at their prices, I can get there. And again, FanDuel, you're dropping Quinn Cook if you're playing him that low.
Yep. I think we're time to take some questions.
If we missed anything, they will show us the light.
Bruno or Troy Brown, FanDuel.
I'd play Bruno.
I think I'd go Brown, but I don't think you're really going wrong on either play there.
Yeah, I mean, they're both getting in there at small forward. That feels good. They both have the upside. Brown probably has the secure minutes. He's their first-round pick for the year. They're salting away the year. Jabari is out again. Everything is there for Brown to get 35 minutes, and this is not your granddaddy Celtics as far as defense or pace. So they're going to move a little bit faster.
Very, very true. Let's see. Yahoo Cash, Harden and KCP or DeLon Wright and PG-13?
In cash, I would do DeLon Wright and PG-13.
Yeah, so would I. KCP can be a complete zero.
Yeah, I can't, we may very well play 39 minutes and take 22 shots again. I can't. KCP is the least cashy of those four players, so I'll go the other side.
Alrighty. Westbrook and Crawford or Kemba and Boogie in a DK GPP?
I would play Kemba and Boogie.
So would I, but that's mostly just because of Boogie's price tag on DraftKings.
Yeah.
I think I prefer the other two guys, but Boogie's just comically underpriced.
Yep.
How do you feel about Lillard on DraftKings and FanDuel from a cash perspective?
Yeah, he's 91 on FanDuel, which I'm fine with 91 him. Again, they need to win the game. Yeah. So that's enough. I'm fine on FanDuel, absolutely. I think he's a fine cash point guard. DK, it's a little closer, but I don't suspect I have an issue with it.
There are certainly worse moves than having any sort of shares of
I think on FanDuel I could have him in cash. On DK, I'm not sure, but it's certainly not a play I'd look at and go in cash. I think you're good.
Same. Cousins or Elf in a GPP on DK, same price.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna take Cousins. You're dealing with two potential, savaging situations. I'm not surprised to see a triple-double out of either of these players, as dumb as it sounds. Cousins, you're worried they have nothing to play for. He gets rested. He only plays 20 minutes. And even if he scores 44 fantasy points, Elf can get you 55, 60 here. But there's motivation. The matchup just simply doesn't get any better. And all the extra usage of having no Clay, no Durant, I will go to Cousins, but they are two guys who are carrying a buttload of upside for you. Do as you will. You got to take there? You got to help me out here because that's what I'm out on a limb there.
Sorry. Entering my MLB lineups right now.
Gotcha, no problem. I slightly went with Cousins because, Elf could get pulled down in the last game, could deal with foul trouble. I just feel slightly better about Cousins.
Yeah.
But
I think Cousins builds you a more unique lineup.
That too.
Yeah. Westbrook, Looney, or Kemba and Hazonia on DK?
Kemba and Hazonia.
I agree.
Yep, I have Hazonia projected for over 40, which feels so ridiculous, but like I have him projected for 41.
So it is so ridiculous.
It would just feel so insane. But everything I look at with the sub usage rates and just the number of touches over the last few games, like I think I know how this game is gonna go, and yeah.
What else we got? Cornet or Gorgeous Dong on Yahoo? Have to assume it's Dong.
Yeah. Well, that's actually really close. I really like both those plays. Cornet's gonna play, 36 minutes against the Bulls. Yeah. That feels pretty good. I'm going to go with Dong because I expect the ownership to actually be lower. Andrew's saving, I believe it's $400. So I slightly prefer Jang. But, Jang gets, Marcus Hall in Toronto. And, that's, it's not the easiest thing ever. But, yeah, Cornet, Jang, Okafor, Bob Williams at 3K. There's just so much good big value.
Alrighty.
Someone sent a message that I caught the update that said, why is no one talking about Salamedri? I love Salamedri. I've been driving that train for quite some time. I think there is, first, Luke is in. That's bad. Second, I'm not surprised if Dirk gets, I'll just say, towards the top of his minutes range. That affects him. So I think he's fine. And then, again, I just listed Jang, Okafor, and all these other guys, and Cornet. And so it's by comparison. It is hard for me to get to Mejri tonight. That's why I'm not discussing him. I really like him. He absolutely could play 7 minutes tonight. So that's why I'm not going nuts there.
We are on the same page there. Rank the Timberwolves with Cat out on DK. I would go Gorgeous Dong, and then I wouldn't list any more names.
Deng, Wiggins, Tyus is where I'm going to come in there if you actually want it. But it's Deng, then many, forward signs.
Yeah.
Wiggins, Tyus.
PG-13 and Wanamaker or Curry and Okafor on DK?
Curry and Okafor.
Would agree. Do we have anything else in here? Kemba, Luka, Cook, or Russ, Caruso, Clark on a DK GPP?
We are started.
We are locked. Russ, Caruso, Clark is my answer for it.
Yeah, Russ, Caruso, Clark for me. It was pretty close, but yeah, I was coming in on the second one. So, yeah.
Okie dokie. We're locked. Let's go check some. Let's check some ownerships.
Yeah, how many sevens did we have?
3.
All right, let's take a look. You want to do FanDuel? Did you enter?
I am playing absolutely nothing.
That's fine. I appreciate you dropping on the show. It's great to have someone to bounce some ideas off of. Makes it.
I figured as much.
Yeah, there's much appreciated. Okay, exporting. Yeah, this gives us this has the Celtics among other things. So I'm going to be doing some victory laps in a few seconds, and then maybe eating some crow in a few hours. But this should have the Celtics. Oh, and they all came in lower than we expected.
Everybody loves a little crow.
Number 1, Kemba Walker, 28.4%.
I like that. I would like to have more than that for sure.
Yep. Number 2, Terry Rozier, 28%. I'd want under that.
Yeah, if I got that, I wouldn't be super upset about it. I understand it. I assume he gets enough minutes that it doesn't murder you.
Yeah,
it's not that appealing.
I'm fine with that. One of these numbers I'm really excited about coming up. But yeah, Rozier has the upside. 28% on this slate. I'd want less than that. It's just where I come in. He's 5 whatever. That's still some sort of reasonable nut. But Robert Williams, 28%. I have him more raw points than Yabusele.
I would have had more than that.
Yep, that's fine. Delon Wright.
He was my number 1 DraftKings play from the Celtics.
Same. I have him, then Yabusele, and then a massive cliff that people will fall off. By the way, Jaylen Brown kept 12% ownership. It just staggers my mind, but okay. I mean, he can get there. Maybe monitors minutes means he plays 24, and it's the Wizards, and there's a bit of usage up for grabs, so. Delon Wright, 25.
I didn't have basically any interest in him today. He's safe. I don't really love him as a GPP play.
I'd have less than that. I think I like him a little more than you.
That's a horrible game.
Yeah.
From a fantasy perspective.
It's certainly fairly fugly. It's been much better for the Pistons. I don't mind the Pistons. The Memphis defense is bad.
Right.
And they're bad.
But they could easily give Javon Carter 28 minutes or something today.
Sure. Any number of things could go a little squirrely. And again, the Grizzlies, I believe, play tomorrow. I'm gonna double check my list, make sure I get this right. Yeah, the Grizzlies.
Ooh, I got news for you.
Oh god.
Blake Griffin was doing warm-ups, grabbed his knee, and then sat down. He's not warming up right now. We'll let you know more once starters are announced.
Well, hopefully you got some Drummond in your life.
Tyler Zeller starting.
Sorry, Yvonne Rob. But that, by the way, that right there, now you should worry about your D-line right.
Yep. Well, Wright, Dorsey, Holiday, Caboclo, Zeller are starting, but...
All right. Now, when they make that move, it's like...
they're willing to make them.
I will say, and I've said this to a couple people, they want to win because they want their pick to fall outside of the top, I think it's 8.
Yes.
So that they can give it to the Celtics now.
Correct. Otherwise, it goes to 6 next year and unprotected the year after that.
Right. I thought it was 8-5 unprotected, but whatever it is, right. So they want it to go now.
Yeah.
So like they actually kind of want to win.
And the Celtics, on the other hand, do not want it.
Yeah. The Celtics are like, no. Let's go. They're in there cheering for the Pistons, oddly enough. So Bob Williams was there, Delon Wright was there, Drummond 19%.
I would have no problem having infinite Drummond.
Yep, same.
And that was before the Blake news.
Tice 14. I would have less just because, again, this team, popularity, he is a guy who I think sees the rotation in the postseason and hasn't been super healthy. So while, I think Bob Williams and Yabusele maybe get 28, 30, 32, I think Tice is locked in that 20 range. So for that reason, I'd come under.
I would like to be under on that as well.
Jaylen Brown, 12%.
I'm gonna go a different direction than that one for sure.
Yeah, again, I can't tell you that there isn't a chance he plays 24 minutes. A chance he plays 28 minutes. Could it happen? I guess they don't play again tomorrow. It's none of them play for. They got 4 days off coming up.
He's my 6th favorite Celtic.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th for me, I think. But yeah, he's behind certainly Rozier and Williams and Yabusele, etc. Larry Nance, 11%.
I just don't know why you would want to.
I will give you, if he was 3% owned, I'm fine. Like at that point, I'm like, is that a guy who, with all those guys out, can get you 50? Sure. It's not the greatest spot, but sure. And he's 3% owned. He's 11% owned. I'm probably going to look somewhere else. Frank Kaminsky, 7%. Nope.
Yeah, it's just, why pay $5,400 for Frank Kaminsky?
Right. You have Okafor and Jang and just all these other
guys at 4K or under that are just like, yeah, that's probably better.
Roughly as good.
Yeah.
If you sit there and go Frank Kaminsky or Gorgie Jang fantasy points for midnight, I'd look at it for a while, and I think I come down Jang. I'll have to think about it for a bit, but anyway. Ante Zizic, 6%. I'd want more than that.
I would be happy to get more. I don't know if I could have gotten to more just because of you're gonna have probably leaving some salary on the floor or on the table, as you probably should have been today, but less so on DraftKings. But yeah, I would have no problem with it. He was the clear star of the Cavs for today on DK.
Blake, 6.
I mean, knee injury during warmups notwithstanding, like that probably should have been higher.
Yeah, agreed. Here's the good one. Gershon Yabusele, 5.7.
Oh my god.
I haven't projected for 6 more fantasy points than Daniel Tice at 2.5 times the ownership. So
I have them similar.
Well, still 6% and 14.
Yeah, I mean, he grades out as my second best DraftKings play from the Celtics. Yeah. So yeah, I would have had a bit more than 6%.
Yep. Jeremy Lamb, 3.5. Fine.
Yeah, I know I would have had 0.
Yep. Thomas Bryant, 3.4.
I would have had 0.
Semi Ojeleye, 3.2.
I would have had 0. That is not the right Celtic to play.
People are going to get introduced to Semi Ojeleye the hard way. Here it comes. Look at this guy. I think he's going to play 30 minutes. I got to get him in there. Don't do it. All right. Again, a fun story here. There was a game earlier this year where Thad Young was out, and I think someone else, and TJ Leaf was announced as starting. and people went apeshit over TJ Leaf. And TJ Leaf was like 15% owned. And I went on a rant after a lot going like, you want none of that. He is Doug McDermott levels of bad. He just is not a fantasy producer. And then he went off and had 40 fantasy points or something. Game of his life. And afterwards, I gave away $100 or $200 in a Periscope and invented a game show called the TJ Leaf Game Show, which was without cheating. It was on our system. You had to name players who had played at least as many minutes in the NBA as TJ Leaf, but averaged fewer fantasy points per minute. And it was the greatest game ever. And the best answer given in what was a fun evening with a couple hundred people in the scope, and I had a great, great time. The best answer given, as in the lowest fantasy points a player had scored, who had played more minutes in the NBA than TJ Leaf, or at least as many, was Semi Ojeleye, who averages like 0.43. It is a dreadfully low number. Anyhow, that's
my first guess would have been Terrence Ferguson.
Ferg is like right on the line. They're both at TJ Leaf was 0.654. I want to say is the number or something like that. It's not an impressive number, obviously.
Of everybody in my entire model, Semi Ojeleye is 925th of 927 in FanDuel points per possession.
We've so set him up for triple double. What's his FanDuel points per possession? 0.48 or per possession? Sorry,
0.257.
Yeah, I was about to say per possession is a whole different thing. Okay, so sorry, where were we? I want
to Blake has reemerged from the tunnel just before starters are announced.
Oh, he's going to do Paul Pierce style, get the wheelchair out. I like it. Brad Wanamaker, 2.7. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have more Wanamaker than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, or Semi Ojeleye.
Yeah.
Justin Holiday, 2.3. Yeah. The game.
I can't even imagine looking at Justin Holiday's name today
and being that. Yeah, it's just maybe you'll have
I hate rostering him on like a 6-game slate when the rosters are normal and he's getting more minutes.
Someone asked how many minutes do you have projected for the Toronto starters, namely Siakam. I mean, this is a unique scenario, and as much as I like to pretend I know everything, I can only know that which can be derived by evidence on hand, and I can't tell you. I don't believe any sample size exists about cross-conference tiebreaker after 3 rounds of playoffs, Nick Nurse head coach. So, like, your guess is absolutely as good as mine. Could he play 34 minutes and score 50 fantasy points? Yes, I think that is in the realm of possibilities. I'm still not trying to go there. Like, they're resting some guys, so that would, again, I'm reading tea leaves here, give me some indication they're not trying to win this game and don't care that much about cross-conference finals tiebreakers. But, yeah. So you want gun to my head, how many minutes does he play? 26.
That's
but
fine.
Do you
want to hear a funny quote from Casey Johnson?
Do it. I like Casey Johnson. He's good.
So this is from Chris Dunn. I've always had that ball in my hands. Going into the summer, my job was to create for others. If I knew we were going to do a multi-ball handler situation, I would have prepped for the summer a little different. Yikes.
I don't know how cagey you can be playing for the Bulls these days. Garpack for life.
Oh,
we got rid of Ernie. We are losing inept back and front offices bit by bit. Maybe Garpack someday.
Best of luck to you, Chris Dunn, because that's probably not going to make everybody feel all great.
I think he was gone anyway. They were looking to replace. He's taking a break in the draft anyway. I don't know if it's Ja Morant or whoever the hell, but he's his time was done there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Troy Brown 1.8. Not on DK. That's not happening.
Can Chris Dunn on if the Bulls add a point guard via free agency or the draft? I'm a dog. I don't run from nothing.
You
no,
go.
But you're gonna get put down.
You're gonna get put in the pound. Miles Bridges 1.65. Okay. Wayne Ellington 1.32. With Blake and I'd have run from that at a speed faster than I can tell you. You need Wayne Ellington to, on tonight's slate for value to, not have Blake so he can get his 18 shots, so he can make 11, including 7 3-pointers, so he can get 28 points from points and 31 fantasy points. Like, I don't want to know.
Hold on here. So, speaking of Blake, I guess he's in.
Okay.
No one said a damn word. James Edwards just tweeted that Bruce Brown opened the game with a floater, but never was just like, and Blake Griffin is playing.
I will load the box.
I have it open now. He's listed here, but nobody's like minutes have changed yet, so.
Let's pull this over here. Open up our game flow. You and I should do a show, if you can manage it, Thursday or Friday, talking about playoffs. Just an idea. We'll talk about it.
Probably not.
Just
knowing what I know, or knowing how I know the schedule is going to turn out, I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that, but potentially.
Gotcha. He's there.
Yeah, well, there you go. False alarm. Blake Griffin in. Blake doesn't have much to give. He's clearly playing on one leg. Caboclo just got past him with relative ease.
Yeah, he's not better. He's not better than like Thon McCurr at that point. Then.
Nope. Like, I don't get the sense that he's going to be sticking around.
He and yank his ass. Like, they need to win the game. If literally, Caboclo is dusting him. Not that Caboclo is dreadfully slow, but that's that is a real thing. So anyhow, we'll keep going until someone plays themselves. We have to be close. Although we definitely could have counted semi-usually. Bobby Portis, 1.3%. Nope.
I mean, he's the kind of guy that I'd be okay with having at 1%, just because, I mean, dude loves to shoot.
Yeah, I can't. That one, I wouldn't get there, but I wouldn't look at it and be like, in 28 minutes he could get 50. So okay,
he's a good 150 lineup flyer to have.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Caboclo 1.25. Better on FanDuel, but fine with 1%.
Yeah.
PJ Dozier 1%. Your thoughts?
Probably would have went a different direction.
Tyler Zeller 0.9%, who, by the way, appears to have 2 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist so far.
I mean, I would have said that I don't like him at all, but then if I was able to make that change to bump his minutes because he was starting, I wouldn't be shocked if he showed up. He's still just Tyler Zeller. He's the best active Zeller.
Hold on a minute. Cody currently inactive, and he's the only active Zeller.
I know. That doesn't make it any less true.
Chetty Osman 0.8.
Again, in 150, you don't mind it because he should play 30 plus minutes. However, he's priced like he should. So it's really not appealing, and the Cavs suck. So I'm good.
Colin Sexton 0.8.
Same thing I just said about.
Bet I can get a flat 0 out of you on a couple of these though. Brad Beal 0.8.
Yeah, no, I would not have had Brad Beal today. They even came out and said that he was barely going to play.
Yeah, Jeff Green 0.7.
I'm going to go ahead and pass on that one.
Reggie 0.65. I would want more than that.
I'd be okay with more than that.
Yeah. Ish Smith 0.64. I'd want well more than that, actually. But it's the matchup for him is not bad. There's a chance he plays 30 minutes. He has a dumb game once in a while. I would want 4% Ish Smith and go 6 times the field.
Yeah.
Reggie just made a 3, assisted by Blake Griffin. There you go. They're on the board.
What do we know?
Yeah, see, there it is. Tyler Dorsey 0.6. FanDuel sure DK would have had none, I presume. He's $5,000 on DK.
I would have had a bunch on FanDuel.
Yeah, I was about to say on DK I'd have definitely had none now that I think about it.
Dwayne Wade starting.
Dear God. 38 minutes of Dwayne Wade coming at you.
Yeah. Starting
for waiters, I presume. Have they?
Our Winderman just said Wade will start tonight. Here it is. Dragic, Wade, Winslow, Olynyk, Adebayo.
Yeah, starting for waiters. Makes sense. I like it. I look. I'm just saying. We talked about it. Now there's 34 minutes is in play, kids. It's the last game of his life, very possibly, almost certainly. So, I'm sorry. They play tomorrow. Excuse me, I misspoke.
Last home game.
I misspoke. Last game in Miami for him. That is an important difference. Because if they don't play tomorrow, I mean, does it shock you with them basically out of the playoffs if he plays 40 minutes?
No.
I don't think it's likely, but it's not out of the realm of, a current, would not.
I also don't think that he starts gunning until the second half.
Yeah, I think he does the fourth quarter Kobe retirement game thing.
Yeah, we can see it really ramp up in the fourth.
Another tray from Reggie Jackson. God, where the hell were we? Right there. Chandler Parsons, 0.5.
I could have skipped out on that one for sure.
Yep, Brandon Knight, 0.5. Not the night for Brandon Knight for you?
Yeah, that's not my night.
Nick Batum, 0.4.
Not my guy.
I don't find that insane. Last game started, played 26. They're playing the Cavs, and the price is down at like 4,200 or whatever. Still don't like it. Don't think I'd get there, but I can see 30 minutes and 40 fantasy points out of Nick Batum against the Cavs. Not likely.
It's not out of the realm.
Right. That's like that one I find far like Brandon Knight on tonight with all the value I think is insane. But
Chris Dunn listed as out today. How we got that update?
Out of the city.
Dwayne Bacon is 3 for 4 from 3.
There you go. Humorously enough, he's 3 names down the list. Jordan Clarkson, David Nwaba, Dwayne Bacon. There it is. I would
have played like 40% of Dwayne Bacon. Obviously. I can't believe we forgot to talk about him. You and I spent the whole time leading up to the show talking about clearly all the Dwayne Bacon. I just assumed it was implied.
I assume everyone knew. Right.
Yeah,
no,
right.
Obviously. Ivan Robb, 0.26. Tomas Satoransky, 0.25. Chasen Randall, 0.24. Bismack Biyombo, 0.14. Guillermo Hernan Gomez, 0.12. Kennard, 0.12. Sam Decker, 0.11. Devin Robinson, 0.08. Tony Parker, I presume not playing, but technically active, 0.08. Malik Monk, 0.06. Thon McCurr, 0.06. Channing Frye, 0.06. Marquise Chris, 0.06. I wouldn't have minded that one. 1% Marquise Chris. I could have gone for it in this matchup. Sounds dumb. Bruce Brown, 0.06. Kyrie Irving, 0.05. Kevin Love, 0.05. Marcus Morris, 0.04. Gordon Hayward, 0.03. Al Horford, 0.02. Aaron Baines, 0.02. Marcus Smart, double odds. Jabari Parker. All of you collectively have played yourself. Reggie Jackson, another bucket.
God, that's really ridiculous.
It's Wade Appreciation Night. Yeah, certainly. I don't know if he means technically, though it wouldn't shock me if they're giving out. Both him and Dirk obviously had some, this is going to be a thing. So,
fun tweet from Fred Katz. Now that Bradley Beal has stepped on the floor, he's officially played in all 82 games for the second straight season.
Which, I mean...
That's big for someone who was notoriously righted for his health issues early in the season.
Stress fractures.
Yeah.
He made it through, even with them woefully misusing him. I mean, I don't know. Misusing is a strong term.
I mean, beat him into the ground.
Certainly potentially risking his health to try to make the 8th seed. I'll phrase it that way.
That would be the right thing. Thomas Bryant, 3 for 3 from the field.
There you go.
Apparently, Reggie Jackson is the only guy keeping the Pistons afloat today.
Yes. And yes. They took the worst time to get rid. They've lost 5 of 6 or something. They're like, we made the playoffs. Like they're... Yep. We may get an under 500 playoff team out of these.
It's Wade Appreciation Night. Thanks, Dave. Shocking. They spelled out Wade in the entire seats in the arena.
Yep.
And I'm sure that Dirk is going to play as if he doesn't give a single shit.
Yeah, which I respect both those ways of doing things. Someone was sharing a yearbook post from Dwayne Wade where there was a question, what will you be doing 20 years from now? And it was literally asked of him 19 or 20 years ago. And he said, spending time with my wife and kids and retiring from the NBA is one of the greatest to ever play the game. Well done. Correct.
Yeah.
Check mark. That's extremely, and I was even impressed by the nuance of one of the greatest.
Oh, I think it's even crazier that he mentioned wife and kids in a high school yearbook post.
Exactly. It's such a mature thing to say.
Yeah.
I want to have a family. I want to spend time with them after playing in the NBA and being great. And even but both have a wife and kids and one of the greatest.
Yeah. Mine would have been I don't know, shotgun and beers and being a lottery winner.
Exactly. I was a pretty douchey, overly mature, whatever the hell teenager. But almost every kid who's Dwayne Wade, who has been the best basketball player on every court, he has ever stepped on for his entire life says retiring as the greatest player ever.
Yeah.
Because like you're 18, you're full of yourself. And like, no, one of the great, like, keeps it down a tier there, and wife and kids. It's like, okay, D-Wade, that's pretty solid. And again, did you see the I believe Budweiser commercial about him?
Nope.
There was
Is he one of the frogs?
There was a thing where they showed the footage of all the jersey exchanges he has been doing with LeBron and all the other guys throughout this year.
Speaking of, I didn't know that he shut down Moutier about it.
Oh, that was the best. Moutier is like, hey, dude, I'd be interested in your jersey. He's like, oh, sorry, I probably promised it to someone else. Like, oh, that hurts.
Anyway,
that hurts.
Budweiser commercial.
2 quick fouls on Bob Williams, by the way.
Jaylen Brown's taken 7 shots in 5 minutes.
That's true. Yes, and he has 7 points and no other statistics. in a related story, I guess the 3-pointers, so 7.5 on DK. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. He's taken 7 shots. The rest of the team 5. So yeah, usage.
Budweiser commercial.
Yeah, so they did Budweiser commercials spotlighting the jersey exchanges, and then they had, here's some other people who want to exchange jerseys with you, and they had 5 people come up to him, and one of them was someone whose house had burned down for whom he rebought stuff, and one of them was someone who was just having real trouble with his life and was so inspired by him he turned his life around, and one was a survivor of the Parkland shooting who had been touched by him when he came to the school to talk to the kids, and one was like, it was a little bit exploitive because it's a beer commercial.
Sure.
But it's touching. It's worth finding the 60s, and one was his mother talking about how she went to prison and how she almost gave up on life, but he was such an inspiration. I mean, it's I'm getting a little bit clamped. Like it was a thing. It was worth the watch. So you should look that one up. I believe it's Budweiser.
I can handle that.
Yep.
That's probably it.
Yeah, I think we're there, buddy. So one more tomorrow. Only once more unto the breach.
Yes, I will be back to join you tomorrow. Send the end of the regular season. Craziness. Feels like it just started. Not true. This last couple weeks have been rough.
We barely knew you.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us, everybody. I gave no plugs today, but Live Before Lock is the promo code for 50% off if you're still with us. Thank you for joining us, and buckle up for another crazy one tomorrow.
Sounds good. I'll be hanging around for late slates and stuff in the old Slackola there.
I will not be doing that, but I will be updating projections.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Enjoy, everybody. We're out of here.